We doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything a boss about. Not putting work and gotta toss them out. I'm really biting, they just barking out. I'm really riding, they just parking now. His street, what to talk about. See the big H when I'm walking out.
What's going on, everyone? Thank you guys for tuning in. Before we get into this interview, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and drop a comment. I like talking ball with everyone and interacting. So let me know what you guys think. But now, who we have coming in today? We have Lukas Ruoss, linebacker for the Rhein Fire. Former Bern Grizzly in Switzerland, played in U.S. in college, drafted to the CFL. This guy's a dog. This guy's a monster on the field, and he's playing for the Rhein Fire right in the heat of a playoff race. So I'm happy to have him come join in and talk some ball a little bit. So, Lukas, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
How's it going? Thanks for having me here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, I want everyone who watches this show in the ELF to kind of embrace this moment right here, because if you know anything about football in Switzerland, the Calanda Broncos and the Bern Grizzlies don't really get along much. Actually, shout out to Bern for winning the Swiss Bowl this past year. So, Lukas, you get your props there, but I promise my Broncos we'll be back. We'll be back, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been this rivalry, or as a matter of fact, Calanda always used to be much better than Bern. And I remember before I went to college in 2016, we won it well in the Swiss Bowl. But after that, I mean, Calanda has been dominating, so it's good. Good that Bern can step it up with Calanda out there. Yeah,
the funny thing about last time you guys winning it was actually the last time that I was over there in 2016. So you guys got the leg up on me there. But like I said, anything about Switzerland, this is one of the best rivalries in Europe. It's always a good ball to watch these guys play. So, but hey, let's dive into it a little bit. There's a couple of things I want to chop it up and talk some ball with you about. So obviously you play for the Rhein Fire. This is one of the most historic, franchises in the ELF based on their history from the NFL Europe days. One thing that's different about this franchise that I think separates, a lot of other franchises is the rich history of the fan base you got there. I mean, your home games, you're playing in front of 8,000, 9,000 plus. And this past week playing against the Galaxy, about 12,000 fans there. So, what's it like playing in front of a big crowd like that in Europe? Because obviously you go to the States, you go to the CFL, you're playing in front of big crowds. But to have a crowd like that in Europe, in one of the best leagues in Europe, what's it like playing for a team like that?
It's different. I didn't think that it's going to be able to experience that over here in Europe, to be quite honest. And the crazy thing is, even walking around the city, sometimes you see people wearing the old Rhein Fire jerseys, and it's like, it's just not known that people recognize you on the street, or that you just see people wearing your stuff and representing Rhein Fire like that. It's great, and it's nice to experience that. And obviously in the stadium, playing in front of 12,000 people in a legit stadium, having a real fan base, and the whole show around the game, the pre-game party. I mean, if the game starts at 3, we start at 12 with the party. They got a little concert going on. They got bull riding, all that stuff. So it's just nice that it got to that level, and I'm sure it'll increase as well over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about it is that, like, I was watching the game, and obviously it was a close game when you guys pulling out the victory. But they're not just fans that are going to go watch the game. These fans are invested. And at one point watching the game, all 12,000 fans were standing. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, in 2 years, this 12,000 can turn to 20,000. So it's gonna be cool to watch as the league grows, how the fan base is not only for the Fire grow, but around the league. But hey, when they decided to start this team for this upcoming year, they brought in a very experienced coach and Coach Jim Tomsula. Obviously, he has the NFL pedigree, and being a head coach in the NFL. For him to have him as a head coach for, the Rhein Fire, what's it been like playing for him? What have you been able to learn, under Coach Tomsula and playing for him for the Rhein Fire?
Yeah, I think it's big time that he came back to Rhein Fire. obviously, same, like, it's great for the players having a person like that in your staff and
Yeah.
motivating you and show you how professional football should look like. But it's also just for the whole organization that it's great, because you got the coaches that can actually learn from him. You
Yeah.
have the organization that can learn how to run a program. And at the same time, you have the fans that were like, oh, we got an old NFL Europe coach coming back, so this whole thing has to be legit, you know? If they just would have got some unknown coaches that nobody really knows about and they're not sure how they're going to raise that program, then I'm not sure if the fan base would have adapted to this whole ELF thing as well as they did. Because just the name Tomsula had such a big name here in Rhein Fire, in the Düsseldorf area, that this whole thing, I'm not sure if it could have been as big without him.
Yeah, and obviously coming up a big win, you beat your biggest rival twice. You get a new contract. So shout out to Coach, who just re-signed with the Fire, and he will be back, next year. And that's good for you guys and good for the organization. But yeah, I think you're right. I think the Fire always had a passionate fan base, but bringing someone with that pedigree in is just intensified it and just brought more eyes and more attention to you guys. And obviously playing under him, you guys not only enjoy it, but you're learning a lot, and he's able to teach and groom a lot of coaches as well too. So, but hey, man, big win last week. You guys are right in the thick of this playoff race, which is essentially a 14 race, but the Raiders do kind of, control their own destiny at this point. But the team you just beat, you're going to be rooting for now, because I think if I remember correctly, the way it works out, if the Galaxy beat the Raiders, you guys are in. But if the Raiders win, then you gotta hope Berlin can beat the Raiders in order for you guys to get in. So you don't control your own destiny. And I mean, obviously, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. You got a lighter next to opponents than what you have been playing. Obviously you don't have any control of what can happen, but what can you guys do to make sure there's no slip-offs, there's no drop-offs within these next two games, depending on what happens with the Raiders?
Well, what I can tell, it's like from week to, we had that quarterback change in the middle of the season, which obviously mixed up our offense a lot, and we had to change the system we were running a little bit because we had some personnel change as well. But you were able to see that the offense got into a way better rhythm from game to game. Mm-hmm. Even that Barcelona game we lost, we had a great offensive performance if you take away these two turnovers for touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
After that, we're moving the ball, and on defense now we're finally able to put everything together as well. Because if you really think about it, compared to a lot of other teams, we're a brand new franchise with new players, with new coaches, with the new concept. So I feel like we're finally getting everything together and being able to play as a team. So I don't see us getting weaker from week to week. We can literally tell in practice and on games that we are stepping up and getting better from game to game. So as long as we can get better, we're going to be able to win these games. And then it's not really on us anymore. Just got to see what the Raiders do.
You guys are now the biggest fans for the Frankfurt Galaxy for these upcoming weeks. Hopefully
that'll be the only time. That'll be the only time where probably the Rhein Fire fan base will root for the Galaxy fan base.
Most definitely. Hey man, I know you probably can't talk too much about it, but I just want to get kind of like your feedback. So obviously we have me and you we share, a commonality with, playing ball in Switzerland. And now there's going to be an ELF team in Switzerland to represent the country. So I'm not asking, do you plan on joining? What's your future plans? I'm not asking you that, but, what does it mean for football in Switzerland? What are your thoughts on having a team in Switzerland like the Helvetic Guards represented in the ELF in 2023 and going forward?
Well, I think it's one of the best decisions that they were able to create a team in Switzerland. Yeah. Because the football in Switzerland, the level that has been playing was actually pretty good. Yeah. But people just overlook the football in Switzerland. Yeah. That the amount of imports we had in Switzerland and for the level we were playing was actually a good level. Yeah. But people just didn't really recognize the Swiss level as much.
Yeah.
And then, like the fan base in Switzerland just wasn't as big.
Yeah.
So, but now that we have the ELF, it actually creates that opportunity that people in Switzerland can display on how good they are, and they can finally compete on a regular basis to see how they match up with other European teams.
Yeah.
So I think just for the development of the football in Switzerland, it's a step that had to happen.
Yeah, and I think it came as a surprise for all of us. I mean, you've heard things about other countries, a London, the Scandinavian team, of Paris, and all those countries are probably still going to come into the play, if not next year, then the years following. But the Helvetic Guards came like out of left field. No one knew, not even people in the staff or the coaches and players I spoke to had any leaks or anything about this was coming. So this came as a big surprise. It really shook up everything. But
yeah,
for me, someone who's played ball in Switzerland only throughout my 3 years in Europe, just to have a team represented in this league is exciting. So I'm excited to see like what happens and how the organization forms and going forward and stuff like that. But again, I just wanted to get like your thoughts on that and everything.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, my bad for I'm interrupting, but I think the biggest thing is that people just have to buy in.
Yeah.
They have to buy into that whole ELF program and have to want to represent Switzerland and just want to be on a bigger stage.
Yeah.
Because they can literally be from playing in front of 500 people to playing at Rhein Fire in front of 12,000 people. I mean, who's used to playing in front of thousands of people if you're playing in Switzerland?
Yeah.
Nobody really is unless you're an import player. So having that extra motivation to play on another level I think that's a step that has to happen, that people in Switzerland buy in and they actually commit to it, even though it might be, it's something brand new. And I'm I know that I can talk to people, I can tell that they're unsure.
They're a little hesitant. They're a little hesitant about it.
So it'll definitely mix up the situation in Switzerland football-wise. So it'll be exciting to see what's going to happen.
Most definitely. But hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. It's been good, talking to you a little bit. I probably haven't talked to you since 2016, but you've had a nice little career with playing ball overseas, getting drafted to the CFL, playing, for the Rhein Fire. So, you're trending in the right direction while my career was just trending downwards and led right into retirement. But hey, it was good to chop it up a little bit. You guys have the Centurions this week. You go to Cologne?
Yes, we'll play in Cologne on Saturday.
Gotcha. All right, well, hey, good luck this weekend, man. I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, it's not many times where, Cologne the Bronco and the Burn Grizzly get together, but it's good to chop it up a little bit. So, hey, this won't be the last time we talk, but it was good talking to you, man.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Nobody.